Hello everyone, and welcome to once again another live stream here on the Speed Force Racing League YouTube channel. Today we are going to be racing around Mexico. It is going to be season 14, around 20 of the Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, today in Mexico. I'll have to think what city it is in. I assume it is going to be Mexico City. A little fact about Mexico. Actually, Mexico is one of the most expensive seats to buy out of the whole F1 calendar. So, for example, if you want to buy a seat in Hungary, I think it is cheaper for a Mexican to fly all the way to Hungary, buy the 3-day ticket and fly back to Mexico than it is to book transportation to Mexico City and actually buy that seat. Well, that three-day seat. So, a little fact. But we're going to get racing already. Unfortunately, I don't have my charts ready, so my apologies for that. Yeah, I came from work, didn't have time to do it at work, which I actually shouldn't be doing because, of course, I'm at work. And then I didn't take the bus today, so couldn't do it on the bus. Had to take a quick Mackie and then came back home, and then I was here. So have a quick look at my Christmas tree already. It's already here. I know it's not December yet, but, you know, it never can be Christmas too early. Don't they say that? I don't know. So we're currently in the lobby waiting for a couple of guys to join in. I think it's Galvin Racing we're waiting for. But we should be ready to go here in this qualifying. It's going to be a short qualifying and a 50% race. Oh, no way. It is going to be pouring out of the sky. And we are going to be having a very long session today. I would assume it is going to be around 1.5 hours. So we will be ready in 1.5 hours, of course. You know, usually the qualifying doesn't get affected by the rain, well, the length of the qualifying, but the race does. You would have to calculate 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds a lap slower. So if you were to do that in 35 laps, that's quite a bit. You know, that's a couple of minutes. So yeah, these guys are... we don't know if it's actually going to be dry during the race, so it seems like it's wet tires right now. So we will be going underway with Energy down right now. He is the Mercedes driver, and I'm just gonna get the standings up real quick so we can talk a little bit about that. Spoony, welcome. Spoony, you just, I don't know if he's from here, but he subscribed to my Twitch, which I definitely appreciate. So I'm just gonna get the standings up real quick, as I do think that Surge is still in P1, of course, as I'm not too sure who is in P2. So Laser is in P1 and Div 1, but we are currently racing in Div 2. Surge is in P1. He has got about 40 points ahead of the V-Car. I'm not too sure if the V-Car is here today. I don't see him in the lobby. Yes, he is. He's in P11 right now, but definitely won't be qualifying in P11. Well, shouldn't be qualifying in P11 because he's a little bit too fast for P11. We've got Energy Dan in P3, quite close to the V car right now, only 14 points. And we've got Utkarsh in P4 with about 60 points from Search in P1. So we've got quite a close gap to P1. I think with still 4 more races to go. Well, this is the 4th race, of course, and we've got round 21, 22, and 23. The season ender is going to be Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to take a quick look at that. But what I do know is that it's going to be a full calendar. So it's always a little bit chaos when it's a 23 race calendar. But I do have to say, I quite like it. It can go 2 ways. It's either one guy being too strong for the whole championship, and you already know who's going to be winning it during the middle of the season. Or you have got something like this, where a lot of people are battling for that top 3 position, and maybe even P1. I think we would have to see Surge crash out this race in order to see any chances for the other guys. Because, the guys are using a 25-point system, so the winner gets 25, the second place gets 22, if I'm not mistaken, 23 maybe. So if the V-car gets, if Surge gets in the top 10, I think he should be golden. Of course, if the V-car wins every race, which I don't see happening, I don't think it will happen. Yeah, he's of course going to be crowned champion of the world. Well, champion of SFR here, but yeah, it's still 4 more races. And it's also a big guess who's going to be winning here in Mexico. Because, these guys are racing in dry weather. Dry weather. My apologies, guys. I'm so out of my space right now. They are driving in the dry season. Well, almost all season they have had dry races. Oh my god. They've had dry races. And, today hopping into a wet race, it's always a little bit difficult, as Energy Dan is now coming around the last corner. And you see Pirelli being one of the biggest sponsors here in the F1, of course. Pirelli, the supplier of the tires of the Formula 1 drivers. So Energy Dan is going to put himself in P1 right now. Keith is quite close in P2. And let's have a quick look who is in P15. Mindful Wasp now coming around at the last couple of corners. He is actually now entering that difficult section in Sector 3, one of the most difficult sections on the track. But I do have to say, I think in every sector, there is a little bit of a difficult corner. You've got turn 12, or I don't know which turn that actually is. I have to Google that real quick. 132.1 for Mindful Wasp as he puts himself in P1 right now. Let's go on board with Noldus, as he's usually one of the faster guys. He has invalidated, unfortunately. Mr. Wiggles, no, he is not going to improve. Well, he's not going to put a time in because he invalidated, unfortunately. Ellie, maybe, as the Alfa Romeo driver, is currently sliding all over the place in Sector 3 right now. He or she is running wet tires, though, so we can definitely tell that it is wet tires. Puts himself in P5 right now, as of course it's lovely to see the Alfa Romeo in the top 5 right now. Alfa Romeo hasn't been very performing these last couple of weeks. Definitely not Ellie. Calvin Racing has been up there in the top 5 every now and then, but I would say, sometimes getting a race win too. But he has only joined when I've done my first commentary video, which was season round 13, if I'm not mistaken. So Calvin Racing right now, P15, he hasn't put a qualifying lap in yet. So we might want to go on board with him, as he is on 1 right now. Adams has managed to join. That's always great to see. As Calvin Racing is now coming around the last corner. And is he going to be able to improve here? That is a big, big question. He should be, because he hasn't put a qualifying lap in yet. P3 for the Alfa Romeo driver. And then we've got the V-car in P1 on pole right now. Provisional pole it is. But the track will heat up a little bit. So the guys will be a little bit faster, as you can see, as we go deeper into the qualifying. The guys will definitely improve a little bit more. We see Mindful Wasp putting himself on pole right now with a 131.2. And I feel like Mindful Wasp is those kind of guys that always wants to improve. He always wants to practice more, to get better, all that kind of stuff. Because, last couple of weeks, he has been in the top 5 consistently. He wasn't there when I first commentated. So I think it only started after round 16, 17 maybe. Well, I don't think 16, maybe 15. And then in round 13, 14, 15, he was nowhere to be found. Then he started practicing, I think, and he is consistently being in the top 5. You know, in Japan, kind of gave away a race win, and that was quite of an unfortunate incident he had there. Well, it's not really an incident, but he kind of gave it away. As easy as that. He gave it away, which kind of frustrated him. But it would frustrate me as a racing driver too, though. You know, last lap, last corner, and you give it away like that. It's crazy. I do have to mention it every stream. It's just such a tragedy. Tragedy. How do you say that? What? Strategy. Nee, niet strategy. Nee. Mr. Wiggles puts himself in P3 right now, 131.6. And that is going to be a pretty decent performance. So the guys can come out 2 times already. Well, 2 times again. They've only put 1 lap on the board right now. We might want to go on board with Aceman. That is going to be Mr. Wiggles' teammate. Although he did invalidate right there. So maybe Serge, only a 133.3. The pressure is on his shoulders. As of course he needs to get a good qualifying position in order to get a good race result. You know, starting from the back is never an easy task. If you can get into that top 5, you're always, well, almost always secured of a top 5 position if you can keep it consistent, of course. If you get spun out in turn 1, yeah, of course, you're going to drop back all the way to P16 and then it's going to be race over. Well, not really race over, but it's going to be difficult to come back because usually the grid is quite spread out, so it will be a hard task to overtake, for example, P12, P11, P10 to get back into the top 10. And then the guys in the top 5 have already run away, so Rux Midi right now has joined the session. Serge is going to head into the pits right now. And we might want to go on board with Aceman. He has invalidated Bossy Gaming. And then, of course, we've got Martin too in P15. But he is someone who's actually a Div 1 driver. He is just in the lobby for fuel management, strategy, all that kind of stuff. But of course, if it's raining right now, it wouldn't be great trying to calculate your strategy, because, you know, it might be dry tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the Div 1 race, for the guys who don't know that. Ooh, we've got the Haas driver sliding all over the place, but we do know that Bossy Game is quite of a fast driver, so this might be one of his strategies here. Sliding all over the place, and it might be his setup too. You know, the setup, these guys are all running a wet tire setup probably, but I'm not 100% sure if they can change their setup during well, in the middle of qualifying in the race. Because obviously, if it's a dry race, are you running a dry setup or are you running a wet setup? Because, you know, you want to be fast during the qualifying, but you also want to be fast during the race. And I'm not too sure what is the most beneficial here, as Bossy Gaming puts himself in P3 right now. The Haas driver put a 131.5, which is not bad at all. But Mindful was still in P1. The V-Car still in P2. I think he had a very unfortunate race incident 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure what Grand Prix that was. Currently on board with SFR Doran, as he's got a 132.9. Still lots of room for improvement here for the Aston Martin driver, as he's now heading into Sector 2 through a DS section. As that is going to be one of the most difficult sections of the track here, I would say so. As I was talking earlier, you've got a lot of difficult sections around this track. In Sector 1, you might have that difficult turn 1, 2, 3 combination, and then you've got into Sector 2 DS sections, of course, and then into Sector 3, you've got that fast right-hander coming out of the DRS section, where a lot of guys tend to make an overtake. So it's going to be a question if we're going to be seeing any overtakes through that corner section, because obviously it's quite difficult to make a move through these corners as he's heading back into the pits. Doran is not going to be able to improve, but we do see a couple of guys on the night lap, including Serge and Aceman. So Aceman, who's just come into the pits and now invalidated, as he is already back out on track right now, right behind the Williams and the Alpine, if I'm not mistaken. But they are going to have to make some room, or Aceman has to back out of his lap. Obviously, he is not on the lap, so it's the best thing to do right now. And guys, make sure to let me know what you think of this beautiful Ferrari livery. It's a new livery that they used in Las Vegas. It's the red and white, which I absolutely love. You know, this is what Ferrari is all about. It's either black, it's either yellow, or it's either white. And I love this white with red combination. It's something new. It's something new. We haven't seen it before in the last couple of years. And I do love the red they used this year. You know, sometimes you've got Ferrari using a very weird red. But this year, I think they've made the right choice going for this red. Also with the black combination. Well, on their usual car. This car is, of course, having the white contrast. Aceman now heading into Sector 2. As we might want to go on board with the Italian driver. As he's got a driver right in front of him. It is the AlphaTauri driver, or is it the Mercedes driver? It is the Mercedes driver. So, who is that Mercedes driver? It might be Energy Dan, who is on an outlap. If it's Mindful Wasp, he's also on an outlap. So, he might have to back out of this lap right now. Not talking about the Italian, but talking about the Mercedes driver. Although this could be a very annoying factor for the Italian driver right now as he's heading into Sector 3. He is up on his time, though. And is that driver in front of him is going to back out? Doesn't look like it. He just wants to push. He just wants to push. And this might be something great for Aceman, although he's catching a little bit of understeer here through this corner. He's going to get some slipstream though, but it didn't gain him too much time. Puts himself in P3 at 131.4. And who is that driver who just came across the line? That was Energy Dan, who's just started the lap. Are we seeing an AlphaTauri in the wall there? It does look like it. And is Aceman now going to make it difficult for Energy Dan? It doesn't look like it. He is on the intermediate. So is it already intermediate times here? Let's have a quick look what the other guys are on tire-wise. A lot of guys are on the intermediates. Aceman went on to the wet tires. And Energy Dan is up on his time. He improved in Sector 1. Mr. Wiggles puts himself in P1 right now. 130.5. Not a bad lap at all. And we're going to see these times improve. Going into the end of the session here. Calvin Racing with a 130.4. Not a bad lap at all. Only 1.2 tenths away from Mr. Wiggles' time. So we might want to have a quick look what the lap data is for Energy Dan. And he invalidates going through the S section right there. So he'll have to go one more time because he cannot come into the pits again, change to other intermediates, and then go out again because he won't have time. So he'll have to go one more time. Does he have the ERS? Yes, he does. As he's now heading around, well, heading into the last section of the track right now. Coming around the last corner. And is it going to be an improvement for the Mercedes driver? I guess he'll have to push one more time. But will he be able to? Will the pressure be too much for the Mercedes driver? I don't think so. He was up by 6 tenths on his previous time, though, when he just came across the line. He's draining all of his battery down the main straight right there. Martin retired from the session, as he's going to be starting from the back of the grid. Energy Dan now heading into turn 3. As we're now heading into turn 4 and 5. I do have to calculate all of these numbers, though, for the race. If I want to mention a race, a corner, a move into a corner. So heading into turn 4 right now, smooth on the brakes into turn 5. You want to take as much curb on the exit as possible into turn 6 and 7 right now. Fast right-hander, well, a double right-hander actually. It's kind of a U-turn, but also isn't. Into turn 8, fast left-hander, has a little bit of a snap there. Into turn 9, takes a lot of curb on the entry. Turn 10, into turn 11. You want to take as much curb as possible where you invalidated last lap into turn 12. And then we've got turn 14 up ahead. Hard braking zone. And that is beautifully done by the Mercedes driver into turn 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're heading into Sector 3, turn 16 and 17. And then we've got the last corner, which is turn 18. Beautiful lap here from the Mercedes driver. I don't think it will be enough for pole. But it will definitely be a good time. It will be enough for pole. A 130.0 improved by 4 tenths on Calvin Racing's time. There's only one more minute on the time board. The V-car comes in clutch, improves by 6 tenths on Energy Dan's time right there. And is there anyone going to be able to improve on their time? Surge only in P13. He's letting everyone go past as he wants to come across the line as last and try to kind of make a change in the standings right now. He's only in P13, isn't very great, and he will have a lot of pressure on the shoulders because there is a lot at stake. He's letting no one go through. He's got the Alfa Romeo right behind him. The V-Car gets pushed back to P2 as Mr. Wiggles takes the lead of the race, while the lead of the qualifying here is Surge coming around the last corner. Having a little bit of a snap. He was up by 7/10 on his time previous lap. That was quite interesting, though. And he's now going to drain all of his battery down the main straight. And I think Alpine is the only team who actually uses a round wheel instead of like this triangle square kind of wheel. And Noldus right now 129.0. As we do see these times improve. But it's still raining, though. So quite of an interesting challenge going on to the intermediates, but it paid off. It paid off. Whoever decided to go first onto the intermediates must have some big balls, but it is what it is. Surge right now coming into sector 2. I'm just gonna take a quick sip of water. Is he up on his time? He's got that Alfa Romeo right behind him, pushing. Heading into sector 3, Bossy Gaming puts himself in P1. He is up by 1.8 seconds. That would not put him in pole. But would it be a top 10 position maybe? I don't see it happen. I feel like he's struggling a little bit here in Mexico right now. Heading around the last corner. Will it be enough for Surge? Let's have a quick look. It might be. It might be. A 130.9. It's only good for a P11, so not great. Adams. Where is he going to put himself? P11. Pushes Surge one position down. Doran still on the fast lap, as he is the only one on track together with Energy Dan. I don't think Energy Dan is going to be improving anymore. Doran coming around the last corner. It will be an improvement. A 130.4 pushes Adams as Surge behind. And Energy Dan right now, he's faster by 6/10. Will it be pole? I couldn't see. But I don't think it will be pole. It will be P5 for Energy Dan right there. Not a bad result at all. As of course, we need to delete the overlay and the camera, so you guys can get the right results. There we go. So we've got Bossy Gaming in P1. Quite of an interesting result right there. Anolda's in P2. Now we've got Calvin Racing in P3. Further, we've got Mindful Wasp, Energy Dan, Mr. Wiggles, the V-Car, Magi, Ellie, Keith, Doran, Adams, Surge, Aceman, Mark Querty, and Martin all the way at the back of the grid. I'm not too sure if Martin is going to be racing tonight. But if he is, good luck to you, Martin. I know you've been watching the streams every now and then, so really appreciate it. But we are going to be racing, guys, here in Mexico. I'm just going to take one more sip of water. And then we are ready to go, of course, because I don't think there is a formation lap, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to check out the YouTube real quick to see if the quality of the stream is alright. Just checking out my Discord too. Let me have a quick look. This is WR. That is not the league I'm streaming for right now. All right, let me have a quick listen, guys. I will be right back with you. All right, so I should be back. I hope everyone is all right now. We're almost gonna get started here in Mexico. Just gonna check out what they have said here, race comms. All right, there we go. How is everyone doing? They're all changing setups right now because obviously we're going to be having a dry race. As you can see in the sky, it's cloudy, but the sun is shining. There's a few clouds. Let's do guess the flag game, guys, while we are waiting anyway. So that flag right there with the white and the blue, that's the Finnish flag. What flag is that right there? Is that the Monacan flag? I do think so. And then in the back, we've got the Mexican flag. Obviously, we are in Mexico. The Australian flag. And then a Brazilian flag. And I don't think there is any other flag. Well, the European Union flag. But I'm not too sure why they are waving with the European Union flag in Mexico. But it is what it is, right? Oh, I think I see a Spanish flag, don't I? In the back somewhere? No, I don't think so. All right, so we're still waiting for people to ready up. It takes quite some time right now, so I think the lobby has glitched for some reason. I might want to have a quick look in the channel. So here we are. A few facts about Mexico. It has been one of the oldest circuits on the calendar, actually. I think it has been there since the 70s. Oh, and we are racing already. We've got 5 red lights right now here for Mexico Speed Force Racing as we're heading into turn 1 already. It's 5 red lights and away we go. We might want to see the position changes already. A pretty good start from Bossy Gamer right there. Defends the inside line. As of course it's a very long straight here heading into turn 1. We've got the Ferrari already making a move around the outside of Noldes. Noldes drops back to P3 as he's side by side with the Mercedes driver right now. Energy Dan takes P3 as Noldes drops back to P4. Mindful Wasp drops 1 position too as Adams is currently in P8. Gains 4 positions. Mark QWERTY gains 5 as he's trying to make a move back on the V-car. The V-car got pushed back to P7, which is not great, as there are not many position changes here. Noldes right now in P4, right behind the Mercedes driver. He did drop 2 positions though, which is not great at all. So we might want to go on board with Mr. Wiggles heading into the S section, having a little bit of a snappy rear right now, as he needs to watch out, because obviously in Mexico your tires are going to be going, and there goes Energy Dan. There goes Energy Dan. That is going to be the first safety car already of the evening. And this is not great for the Mercedes driver. Who is going to come into the pits though? Let's have a quick look with the tires. Bossy Gaming went onto the softs. He thought there was going to be a safety car, but he didn't think it was coming that early. Was he? Mark QWERTY also on the softs, and so is Keith. Noldes drive-through penalty speeding under safety car. That is going to be a big penalty for the Williams driver right now. Oh, you guys don't hear any sound, do you? Here we go. Wait, why can't you hear any sound though? Let me have a quick look. You should be able to hear now. Sorry guys, my apologies. Alright, so safety car situation. Nobody is coming into the pits. Energy Dan is going to be frustrated by that. He left the session too, so that is not great. As usually, if we've got a safety car and the hobby host, yeah, you see migrating host, it's glitching already. That is not great, is it? That is not great. Let's have a quick look with P3 right now. So I might want to have a quick look on Discord. All the guys right behind the safety car right now. And the migrating ghost is still... Well, the migrating host is still popping up on the screen. Let's have a quick walk through position changes right now. Boss Gaming started in P1. He is still in P1. Calvin Racing in P2. He came all the way from P3. You've got CT Noldes in P3. Started in P2. Mindful Wasp started in P4. And he is still in P4. Mr. Wiggles in P5 right now. The V-car in P6. Adams in P7. as he gained 5 positions, obviously 4 on track and 1 overtaking energy. Then right there, Doran is in P8 right now. He gained 3 positions. Ellie is still where he was before. Mark Querty in P10 gained 5 positions, and so did Martin. So Martin, the Div 1 racer, I would expect him to gain a few more positions during this race. Obviously, starting from the back of the grid is never easy. As Noldus is now... The guys are all... What is happening here? Oh, they're all... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, the lobby is glitched. Interesting. Noldus got overtaken by the Mercedes driver. Is now going to get overtaken by the Ferrari driver too, isn't he? Oh, and the lobby is... Oh, okay. Wait, hold up. I'm going to send a message. There we go. Lobby restart. Alright guys, we will be back in a second. Hold up. I will be able to sort it for you. I just have to go to my designer app real quick. But it won't take too long. So a lobby restart usually takes quite a bit of time. Let's have a quick look here. So SFR. Oh, I'll put some music for you guys already. Here we go. Alright, everyone. We are ready to go again. I'm just gonna have a quick listen on YouTube to see if the quality is alright. And then we are ready to go, obviously. So hope everyone is still in the live stream. You know, it's a long evening, but it is what it is, you know. We are already streaming for 50 minutes and we only had a qualifying of 20 minutes, so... The quality is alright, so... yeah, everyone is gonna put their setups on their cars. It's gonna be a dry weather again, because obviously we had sunshine last session, so we're gonna have sunshine once again right now. Just gonna take a quick sip of water. And I think this has happened already a couple of times where Dan leaves the session and then the lobby glitches, but I'm not 100% sure if it was last time like this too. But yeah, it will be from qualifying positions, so the guys that have actually gained a lot of positions are back in the positions they were. That's a bit unfortunate, but then of course the guys who lost a lot of positions, yeah, they're back in the race, so... And we're still waiting, so I'm not too sure if we actually have to wait for someone saying we can ready up or not. No? So yeah, I mean... obviously, it's gonna take quite some time right now. Oh, there we go. We've got 5 red lights, and hopefully I can get a better race start right now. We've got a pretty good start from Bossy Gaming. Once again, he had a good start last time around too, but Noldus is right down the inside right now. So are we gonna see Noldus taking the lead here? Doesn't look like it. Calvin Racing right around the outside of the Williams drivers. It seems like he's trying to make that move work. The Mercedes driver down the inside, and everyone keeps their position. Energy Dan is back in the lobby. Energy Dan is back in the lobby. That shouldn't be allowed, should it? That shouldn't be allowed, but it is what it is. I'm not the owner, so it is what it is indeed. So, Energy Dan in P3 right now. Mindful Wasp takes P4, and Noldus in P5. And I'm just going to have a quick look at the position changes real quick. 3 positions lost for Noldus, as we've got Aceman dropping back 1 position right now to Ellie side by side with Surge. As Surge retakes 3 positions right now, as he is up for that championship battle. He gives back that position to Ellie, who now goes wide through the S's. She needs to make room for everyone else. Although, did she crash though? Did he or she crash? I still don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Cuts the corner right there. Currently in P14, drops back 5 positions. Does he have a broken front wing? It does appear like it. Although it does not appear like it. Why does he let everyone go through? There goes Martin, past Keith. Keith, who dropped back 5 positions too. Not great at all, as Bossa Gaming now takes the fastest lap of this race, 123.2. As he's getting attacked from behind. Calvin Racing trying to retake the lead of the race, as he's now side by side. Although the Haas driver has a little bit more straight line speed right now. Calvin Racing not being able to benefit from that straight line slipstream. Ellie right now, DNF retiring in the session. He couldn't care less. Yes, we're gonna get a quick look at Mr. Wiggles right now, the Ferrari driver currently in P6, trying to close down that gap to Noldus, as it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to do so. He does have the fastest first sector. Might want to take a quick look at the tires right now. Bossy Gaming on the soft tires, Calvin and Dan on the medium tires, Mindful Wasp and Noldus on the hard tires, Mr. Wiggles on the softs, on the mediums, my apologies. Adams and Maggie on the hards. We've got the V-Car all the way P9, dropped a couple of positions if I'm not mistaken. On the medium tires too, we've got Surge on the hards, Doran and Aceman on the mediums, and then we've got Martin, Mark Querty and Keith on the soft tires. So let's get back to the top of the grid As we've got Bossy Gaming and Calvin Racing having a heated battle to get that P1 position right now. As it's now coming around the last corner, you need to have a good exit out of that corner in order to get a good straight line speed right now. Bossy Gaming with the fastest lap of 120.7, not a bad lap at all. As they're now heading into the first corner of this track. Calvin Racing simply doesn't have the DRS, the slipstream, I mean the straight line speed just in general. Look at this ERS deploy already. He has less than 50% and he's only in lap 3 right now. He has raced 2 laps and it's out of ERS basically. Mindful Wasp gets past Mr. Wiggles. Noldus drops back to P6. As Noldus is looking to make a move on Mr. Wiggles. He's trying to go around the outside, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that move right there. He's running that green Ferrari helmet right there. He's going to have a good exit. He's looking to make a move down the inside. He's running those hard tires too. So I think Mr. Wiggles is a little bit of in a difficult situation right now on those medium tires. He won't be able to stretch them that long. And he will be on the slower tires at the end of this race. And he's not able to keep Noldus right behind him. So Noldus on those hard tires, not a bad strategy. As he will be on the faster tire at the end of the race right now. Sticking to the tail of Mr. Wiggles. Calvin Racing once again. He's not going to have the slipstream. Well, he is going to have the slipstream, but he's not going to have the straight line speed. Coming around the last corner right now. Will he be able to do it? I don't think so. 5 tenths, 6 tenths. It's just simply too far away from Bossy Gaming. Look, he's only gaining a tenth. 2 tenths maybe. He's got the DRS though. But it's not going to be enough for the Englishman. As Bossy Gaming still in the lead right now. Is anyone else going to be able to make a move? Matt G maybe. He's not close enough to the AlphaTauri driver. As the V-car got back in P8. Let's have a quick look with the position changes real quick. And, you know, Mexico is... Oh, Calvin Racing makes that move down the inside right now. Doesn't have the room to make that move. So heading into the S section right now. It's running high gears, as we can see. Slamming the throttle right there. Now heading into the S's. Having a little bit of a snap right there, but that might be... You know, sometimes the guys are touching the curbs to gain some rotation into their cars. And he's a little bit slower on this lap than he was on previous lap. Currently heading into sector 3 right now. And he's gonna have the DRS. Will it be a shot for the Englishman? Aiming into the last corner of the track. Touching a lot of curbs. A little bit of a snap there from the Haas driver. As it is going to be Calvin Racing with the DRS. This will be an easy move for the Alfa Romeo driver. And he will be able to create some kind of gap coming out of turn 3 right there. Because obviously he's going to have the DRS once again. Bossy Gaming does have the straight line speed. But he's not close enough to recapture that P1 position. So having a quick look at Calvin Racing right now. Coming out of turn 3. And will Bossy Gaming be able to make that move again? Doesn't look like it. He doesn't have the DRS. And it's as easy as that. If you don't have the DRS here in Mexico, you're simply not going to be able to make a move. Mindful West right now, right behind Energy Dan, is 5 tenths away from the Englishman. And quite of a controversial moment there. Energy Dan, who crashed out during the first session and is back into the lobby right now, which is quite of an interesting thing right there. But obviously... they're the league owners themselves, so they can decide whatever they want, don't they? Noldus right now in P6. The Williams driver dropped 4 positions, though. He does have the DRS, but it's not going to be enough to make that move on Mr. Wiggles. And you know, we've seen that from Noldus during the first session. We've seen it in the second session. He's quite of a... I don't know, he always loses a lot of positions. Does get a good race start. Like, gets off the line pretty quickly there, but... simply doesn't get that move, or like, I don't know if he's just stuck in a difficult position every time. But he dropped back a position or 2 or 3 once again, currently in P6. So we're heading into lap 6 out of the 36 right now. With Mr. Wiggles in P5. He's right behind Mindful Wasp. He's not gonna have a good slipstream, a good exit coming out of that corner. You know what I think? Energy Dan and Mindful Wasp are working together. I think Mindful Wasp is trying to keep Mr. Wiggles right behind. And we've seen this once again well, we've seen this all over again a couple of weeks ago where they were battling quite heavily with each other. Couldn't remember, I think it was Hungary if I'm not mistaken, where they were battling quite heavily with each other. So I'm just gonna have a quick look at Mindful Wasp here, if he's gonna be able to get that DRS. I do think so. He does indeed. Are they gonna be switching positions? Mindful Wasp might be backing out of the move. Yes, indeed he is, but he will have the DRS down the main straight. Energy Dan won't have the DRS down the main straight, as they're now heading into Sector 3. Although will Energy Dan have the DRS? He's quite close, but he's not close enough though. Bossy Gaming not able to get to the DRS, so it's Calvin Racing, Bossy Gaming, and Energy Dan who all not have the DRS. But Energy Dan does have the straight line speed right now, being able to catch up to Bossy Gaming a little bit right there. And what is Mr. Wiggles going to do? Straight into turn 1. He's not going to. Matt G right now making a move on the V car as he's heading into turn 1 with a beautiful move around the outside. And the V car, as we know him, leaves a lot of space for the guys around him to make that move. He doesn't want to risk anything, especially after, well, because he's second in the championship right now. He's in front of Surge. He's not going to score a lot of positions whilst his tires are done. Already? That would be crazy. Soft. Six laps of softs? I don't think so, though. 6 laps of softs? That would be crazy, you know? Or is it a 2-stopper? That could be it. A 2-stopper? Soft, soft, medium? Soft, medium, medium, maybe? Bossy Gaming getting a 3-second time penalty right now. And that is an indication that his tires are done. Thank you very much, Laser. Appreciate it. Now heading into Sector 3. Is Mindful Wasp going to be able to make that move? I wouldn't say so, because Energy Dan obviously has the DRS this time around. Bossy Gaming 2.3 seconds behind. Look at this pace drop. Yes, indeed. But it might be confidence too, you know. It might be confidence. Oh, look at this. Easy straight line speed difference for Energy Dan. And he has made the move around the outside. Let's have a quick look how they compare in Sector 2. I want to have a quick look at what the leader gap, well, the leader's gap is to Bossy Gaming, because that's the best way to analyze this. They're going side by side here in P8 and P9. It was going to be Maggie and the V-Car once again. Doran and Surge are having a heated battle, and now it's a championship battle here between Surge and the V-Car, as Surge is going around the outside. They're going 3 wide into this difficult section around the track. And the V-Car right now takes P9. Although he has to get that P8 done, because otherwise... Oh, Energy Dan drops back and he loses a couple of positions. Does he have a broken front wing? Doesn't look like it, but it seems to be at the same place where he crashed out in the first session. Now he's got Adams right on his tail. And as we can see, Bossy Gaming dropping a couple of tenths, but I wouldn't say it's very significant. Adams right now on the tail of Energy Dan, and let's have a quick look with the interval. Only a couple of tenths in between those two. Mindful Wasp retakes that position, and Bossy Gaming comes into the pits already after 7 laps of racing on these soft tires. 8 laps actually. And Energy Dan also comes into the pits. Those medium tires were done. Does he have a broken front wing? Doesn't look like it. And he's going on to the medium tires again. The V-Car right on the tail of Matt G. Down the inside he goes, and that will be move done for the AlphaTauri driver. Noldus and Mr. Wiggles are having a heated battle. Noldus is going to have a good exit coming out of turn 3, and he will also have the DRS, but so does Mr. Wiggles. They have dropped a couple of tenths from a Mindful Wasp right there, so I don't really get how they both got a DRS right there. Mr. Wiggles right now in P4 on the tail of Noldus, and the Ferrari. It's once again a Ferrari-Williams battle here in Speed Force Racing. What will Matt G do? Will he be able to capture that position again from the V-Car? Not a bad position right now, in which the V-Car finds himself in P6 on the medium tires. So he will be coming into the pits around lap 12, 13 maybe, to go onto the hards and finish off the race on those hard tires. Although 24 laps on the hard tires is going to be a tough challenge for the Englishman right there. We might want to go on board with Mr. Wiggles again, as he's coming around the last corner. He's going to have the DRS though. Good exit coming out of that corner. And have a quick look here. We're going to see that pace difference down the main straight. Although it seems like Noldus has some good straight line speed here. Even with the DRS, Mr. Wiggles is not going to be able to make that move into turn 1. But he might be able to make that move into turn 4 with a good exit coming out of turn 3 right now. He's taking a lot of curb there. Beautiful defense from Noldus. Takes an awkward line to make Mr. Wiggles also have a pretty awkward line. And now he has a good exit coming out of turn 3. And Mr. Wiggles is left behind a little bit here. 210s. He's got the DRS, but he's not able to make that move. And is he going to try and make a switchback where it doesn't look like it? Having a little bit of an awkward slide through that corner. And Noldus, as we can see, is taking awkward lines in order to kind of confuse Mr. Wiggles right there. It's the same as we saw Alonso do with Perez back in Brazil 2023. Well, it was actually this year. It was 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. 3 weeks. Or 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks? I think it was 2 weeks, wasn't it? Doran being pretty close to Surge right now as we can see Surge trying to get back to the V-car. And where is Mad G? He dropped back to P9. Doran was able to make that move. So did Surge. So it's only a matter of time before Surge is going to be able to get that overtake on the V-car done. The V-car doesn't have the DRS. A little bit of a snap there from Doran as he drops back a position. He possibly doesn't have the DRS right now. Let's have a quick look with Surge here. Down the main straight. He's not going to be able to make that move, although there must be a significant pace difference between himself and the V-car. And there is. Look at that pace difference between the V-car and Surge, as Surge now retakes P6. It's both Alpine drivers in the top 10 and the top 6, I must say. And not a bad result after their pretty disappointing qualifying. I do have to say that. 10-lap-old hards, even on the hards, they're a pretty fast team right there. Nola is still on the tail of Mr. Wiggles, as they're now heading into Sector 2. Will Noldus do something about this barrier? You know, the barrier of Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Barrier is what he should call himself, you know. Kind of being an annoyance to all the other guys on track. Nobody is able to get past this Ferrari beast. Noldus is trying to make a move around the outside. Has a little bit of an awkward line. And now has to let Mr. Wiggles go. Takes a tight line into turn 16, I think that is. Heading into the last corner. He's having an awkward line. Mr. Wiggles definitely has the better line through that corner. There's the 5/10 difference. Noldus does have the straight line speed right now and the DRS. Here he goes. Into turn 1 he goes. Down the inside and he will make that move before the corner is there. Noldus retakes P3. And it is going to be Adams trying to make a move on Mr. Wiggles. It's a three-way battle for the podium right now. And the big question is who is going to get their first penalty. Bossy Gaming already had one. And it's only a matter of time before these tires are dropping off. Especially the medium tires. Magi getting back into P8. And it seems like the V-car is kind of losing the toe of Surge right now. He doesn't have the DRS. Adams trying to get a move done on Mr. Wiggles. And that is a move done by Adams. Gets him P4 right now. Not a bad result by him at all. And as we can see, those medium tires are dropping off quickly. Calvin Racing right now 3 seconds in front of Mindful Wasp. It seems like I'm annoying my dad a little bit here. he's playing chess and he blames me that he's losing. Mr. Wiggles right now on the tail of Adams, and it's always Mr. Wiggles. Always when my parents are here, Mr. Wiggles does something and I have to mention them. What? Måste du gärna zo'n zien? The V-car and the tail of Surge. Is it gonna be a move? It doesn't look like it. Look at that speed from Surge down the main straight here in Mexico. The V-car with the use of DRS is not able to make that move, although he is. I feel like Surge let him go through. I'm not too sure why, but I feel like he did for some reason. Because now the V-car is gonna have the DRS. There's a little bit of a snap there. It seems like that is gonna be Doran, and his tires are gone. Bossy Gaming went onto the medium tires. So these guys are definitely going medium hard, if I'm not mistaken. Surge still on the tail of the V-car. So need to take a quick sip of water. Mag eens de zakdoek? Alsjeblieft. And I'm quickly going to blow my nose, guys. My apologies. Alright, alright, alright. Here we are again. Seems like Aceman is trying to make that move on Doran. Doran is pushing him a little bit wide into that fast right-hander. And Bossy Gaming gets another penalty here in Sector 3. Magi is coming into the pits. Hopefully he doesn't get a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Mr. Wiggles makes that move on Adams and he recaptures before. Seems like Nold is on his hard tires, is running away a little bit here. 2 seconds already to Mr. Wiggles. The Mindful Wasp is catching up to Calvin Racing. So is he going to be able to get back into the race lead and hopefully catch one of his first race wins here in Speed Force Racing? I do want to have a quick look with the standings here. Keith retired from the session in the pit lane though, so it's not going to be a safety car situation. Let me have a quick look with the standings. As it doesn't look like anyone is close enough to make a move. Well, not in Sector 2. Mindful Wasp, where is he? Okay, so Mindful Wasps is in P11. And he got one race win in Great Britain. Oh no, he didn't. Wait, hold up. He got a race win in Italy a couple of weeks back. Oh no, he also got one in Singapore. So Singapore and Monza. Or Imola, not 100% sure. Adams right now down the main straight, and he will make that move. It's a very long straight. I would say Mexico is one of the longer straights on the circuit. You've got Belgium, which is quite of a long straight. I think the longest straight is... It's Mexico, isn't it? I think it is Mexico. We've also got... which other ones do we have? I'm not sure. Which other ones do you have? You've got Belgium, which is quite of a long one, the Camel Straight. You have got the United States, which has a very long one. Might be the second longest. The second longest. Let me have a quick think. Oh, Canada also has a pretty long one. Oh no, the longest one is Azerbaijan, obviously. For everyone who doesn't know Azerbaijan, have a quick look at that track layout. It's a very long straight. Doran right now in P10. Pretty close to Aceman. But it's not a possibility yet to make a move. And he has been struggling all over the place. I mean, I think he wants to stretch those mediums as long as possible to go onto the hards. But he has to come into the pits right now, because otherwise he's losing too much time. He's just not coming into the pits. He's going another lap. And I think he's hoping for a safety car, because otherwise he wouldn't stay out of the pits that long. And the grid is spreading out a little bit here. The V car still in the toe of Search, so that means Search has made a little bit of a mistake here. Or his hard tires are also dropping off, but that wouldn't make too much sense, would it? Oh, I think Search has made the overtake on the V car, because he had the DRS. The V car didn't. We had Bossy Gaming, who is on fresh mediums. He still has to come into the pits once. He's gonna make that move into turn 6. Pushes the AlphaTauri a little bit wide, but he makes that move anyway. The V-car is not gonna back out. But he has to benefit from Bossy Gaming making that overtake, because now he can just take the slipstream, get the DRS, and get that move done on Surge. Or will he come into the pits to go onto the hard tires? I would say he has to, because then you would be on 20 lap old hards. And it's better to be on 20 lap old hards than it is to be on 20 lap old mediums, isn't it? Almost the whole grid is spread out a little bit here. Energy Dan, who came into the pits quite early. From softs to mediums. Possibly is going on to the mediums again. As he makes that move on Doran. Quite easily here, as Martin is right behind his teammate right now. Martin coming into the pits. No, it's going to be Doran. It's going to be Doran, and he will be going on to the hard tires. He's struggling too much. Bossy Gaming on the tail of Surge. The V-car couldn't benefit from the slipstream of the Haas driver right now. Will the V-car be able to make that move? Doesn't look like it. 3/10 for Bossy Gaming. 1.2 seconds for the V-car. Bossy Gaming making that move down the inside. He makes his dive bomb work as he catches curb quite heavily there. Search right now in P7. Right in the tail of Bossy Gaming. Don't think he will be able to make that move. High on the gears. High on the throttle. Search has a penalty too, so he will drop a position anyway. You know what the thing is? He has to carry these hards another couple of laps into this race, because otherwise he won't be able to switch on to the medium tires. And the V-car has to do the same. Well, not really, because he's currently on medium tires, so he can come into the pits whenever. But I would say it's the time right now to come into the pits. And he is coming into the pits. He is coming into the pits, and he's probably going to make the undercut work on both Bossy Gaming and Surge, because Bossy Gaming has to come into the pits one more time. The V-car coming into the pits to go onto hard tires right now. Where will he end? Surge right now on the tail of Bossy Gaming. He's just gonna back out of the move, because there's no point in making a move. Both guys are running different strategies. Currently in lap 18 out of 36, so we're halfway through the race. And it seems like the grid is spreading out a little bit here. Surge losing the toe of Bossy Gaming. We've got Martin losing the toe of Energy Dan here. Although Martin might be pushing a little bit, because he's running those hard tires. Energy Dan running the medium tires. Will Martin be able to last those hard tires until the end of the race though? Still 18 more laps to go. 9 lap old hards, that would be 27 lap old hards. I don't think they will last that long. Maybe he's hoping for another safety car to go onto the soft tires. That might be a good strategy. Bossy Gaming makes the move on Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles coming into the pits. 18 lap old mediums, goes onto the hard tires and will drop back to P9 if I'm not mistaken. Although Matt G might be able to make that move though down the main straight. The pit exit is very, very long here in Mexico, so he will drop back to P10. But he is on those fresh hards, so he will get a position from Bossy Gaming, Surge, Energy Dan, and a Martin back again. So he will be in P6 if I'm not mistaken. And here goes a Martin right on the tail of Energy Dan. But these two know each other quite well. I don't think Martin is going to risk it. Whew, my apologies, guys. And as we can see, there's no one who's going to be able to make that move apart from Martin right now. 310s, 210s. He's really pushing through the S's, and I feel like there's a little bit more grip in those hard tires now than there is in the medium tires. Stand-up medium tires, it's quite of a surprise that they're already dropping off. Martin making a move down the inside here. Goes a little bit too wide, but he does catch that position. And he might be able to make a push for P5, because Bossy Gaming and Surge, while Surge still has to come into the pits. But Bossy Gaming has got a penalty. He also still has to come into the pits. Energy Dan is not gonna have a good slipstream right now, as he's not within the 5/10s of Martin. And Energy Dan is gonna have the DRS, but he's not gonna be able to make that move though. Have a look at that. The straight line speed of Martin is just simply too strong for the Mercedes driver. And also here, he's not gonna have a good exit coming out of turn 3. But he's sticking to the toe. He's sticking to the toe. Having a little bit of a snap there. Heading into the S's right now. Energy Dan. 6/10s behind. Mr. Wiggles with a 3-second time penalty. That is going to be very, 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 very bad. Because, of course, Surge is going to be dropping a couple of positions. But he will be switching over to the medium tires. We've got Bossy Gaming switching over to either the mediums or the softs. So he might be losing those positions again due to guys being on fresher tires behind him. Energy Dan right now coming around the last corner. Someone is coming into the pits. That is going to be Surge. He's going from hards to mediums, obviously. And where is he gonna end? It's gonna be behind Mr. Wales. I think it's also gonna be right behind the V-car. Yes, indeed it is. Oh, it's not even gonna be close. Look at that difference. The V-car with the straight line speed. I think even the Ferrari is gonna be ahead of him. Yes, indeed he is. Is the Aston Martin gonna be ahead of him? Let's have a quick look. Doran, he's not close enough. But Serge lost a lot of positions. But he does have the fresher tire. Energy Dan making the move. He's going a little bit wide there. Martin might be able to make the switchback work, although he's not going for it. Mindful Wasp caught up to Calvin Racing. Calvin Racing, is he going for a medium soft strategy? That would be insane. I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off. Simply because, you know, Bossy Gaming was already struggling after 7 or 8 laps. Mindful Wasp pushing those hard tires till its limits. There goes Noldus into the pits. So these guys are all running different strategies. Calvin Racing possibly running medium softs. Mindful Wasp might be pushing for soft tires here. But he's going to be faster now. So he's going to gain a couple of tenths or seconds on Calvin Racing. He's within 1 second right now. Does he have the DRS already? Yes, indeed he does. And where's Noldus going to end? He's going to be in front of the Red Bull. He's going to be in front of the Red Bull. Yes, indeed he is. He is going to be in front of the Red Bull. But will that be enough? Energy Dan and Bossy Gaming both started on the soft tires. Came into the pits quite early. Around lap 9 if I'm not mistaken. And now it's going to be Mindful Wasp and Calvin Racing both running for soft tires. Which is my guess, of course. And who has the most grip through these S sections? It is going to be Mindful Wasp. Has gained a few tenths through there. He's got the DRS right now, but it won't be a very long straight here in Mexico. Heading into sector 3. Taking a lot of curb down the inside. Having a little bit of a snap. It is those hard tires that are difficult to run. If I were him, I would go into the pits and go for medium tires. And he does come into the pits. He does come into the pits. He will be going... Oh, he gets a 5-second time penalty. No way. Oh, that is this race ruined. And it's those tires. It's those tires, dude. Oh, what a mistake from a Mindful Wasp. Noldus gets a 3-second time penalty. He's on fresh tires and he's going to be in front of Mindful Wasp. He's going to have the slipstream from Energy Dan right there. Makes that move down the inside. Oh, he's not going to be in front of Mindful Wasp. What a strategy for Mindful Wasp right there. Energy Dan, 3 tenths behind. Noldus, of course, Noldus being on very, very, very fresh medium tires right now. Mindful Wasp is going to be 2, so it's only a matter of time before he's going to be able to get back to Bossy Gaming. It's Bossy Gaming on 14 lap on mediums and a penalty. A lot of guys getting a good amount of penalties here in Mexico. Mr. Wiggles being quite close to Mad G, and these guys are running a different strategy. Mindful Wasp with another 3-second time penalty. This is going to be race ruined for Mindful Wasp. Calvin Racing coming into the pits. He saw that Mindful Wasp had a 5-second time penalty. He saw that he had a 3-second time penalty. Mr. Wiggles making a move down the inside into turn 12. Gets spun. Oh, but he saves it. And he's not ending up in the wall. That was a very close call there for the Ferrari driver. Calvin Racing indeed goes on to the soft tire. So does Adams. And where's Adams going to end up in? Oh, he's going to be behind the Ferrari driver. He's going to be behind the Ferrari driver, Mr. Wiggles here. He's even going to be behind the V-car. And the V-car, who's chosen hard tires, is not running a bad strategy here. He was battling Surge a couple of laps ago and is currently quite a few tenths in front of him. Although he's got 2 hungry Alpines right behind him. So it's only a matter of time before they're going to be overtaking him. Mr. Wiggles being quite close to Mad G, but so is Noldus right behind Mindful Wasp. And I think this is a battle for top 3. Calvin Racing on those soft tires. I mean, 1.7 seconds behind, but is he going to be able to make those, well, last those soft tires until the end of the race? 1.7 seconds? Ew, that's a nasty one. I don't think he will be able to. Mr. Wiggles right now coming through the S's. And will he be able to? He will be able to. Making that move, making the dive bomb. Goes a little bit too wide. Pushes the Red Bull a little bit wide there. But that's just hard racing, isn't it, guys? I do think so. Mindful Wasp getting a fast slap. Bossy Gaming coming into the pits. He's probably going on to soft tires too. And we've got hard tires for Mr. Wiggles. Soft tires for Calvin Racing. Let's have a quick look at the penalties here. That is not the penalties. These are the penalties. 8 seconds for Mindful Wasp. We've got 3 seconds for Noldus. No penalties for Calvin Racing. 3 for Mr. Wiggles. 3 for Mad G. Who's trying to make a move on Mr. Wiggles right now, but it's not really happening. He's going to have the DRS one more time, though. But he's got Adams right on his tail. Surge wasn't able to make that move down the main straight yet on the V car. And Adams is going to be able to make that move right now into turn 4 with the soft tires. He's going to be able to, but he's going to drop pace quite soon, though, already. Calvin Racing on the tail of the Williams driver. Only 11 more laps to go out of the 36. So it's only 15 more minutes. Search on the tail of the V car. 210s, and I do think he's going to be able to make it work. Having the DRS right now, and there he goes. Search retakes that position, but the V car will have the benefit at the end of the race. Calvin Racing right now being pretty close to Noldus too. So with the slipstream. Oh, there he goes. What a beautiful move from Calvin Racing. Easy move. He made that look very, very easy. Now it is going to be Noldus trailing by a couple of tenths. But he wasn't going to be able to defend that position anyway. Calvin Racing on the soft tires, having no penalties. There was simply no point in Noldus for battling. Adams gaining 7 positions during this lap. Bossy Gaming lost 7 due to an interesting strategy. I wouldn't say it helped him a lot. Neither did it help Energy Dan. So not a good strategy by those two. Apart from that, I feel like the other guys' strategies were quite on point today. Calvin Racing on those medium tires. He's going on to the softs right now. Gained 1 position. He started in P3. Currently in P2. And he's probably going to get P1 anyway. Adams on the tail of Mr. Wiggles. And we've seen this battle happening over and over again here in Mexico. 10 more laps and I want to go to the toilet real quick. I need to go pee really, really bad. Surge right on the tail. Oh, Bossy Gaming having a little bit of a lag there. And that might not be great. Oh, Magi coming into the pits. Why is he actually coming into the pits? Bossy Gaming getting a 3-second time penalty there. I'm not too sure what for. Might have cut the corner. Surge is going to have the DRS. He's going to have the penalty too, though. Mr. Wiggles. Bossy Gaming was having a look down the inside. Is Mr. Wiggles going to be able to make it work right now? Doesn't look like it. He's far, far behind. 8/10 right now. Bossy Gaming. Slipstream activated, but it wasn't enough for the Haas driver. He's got good exits coming out of the corners though, but that lag is just very frustrating. And I'm not too sure if he's able to see that lag too on his screen, but I think it must be frustrating for Surge too to see a lagging car right behind him. It's a jump scare going into every corner because it looks like he's lagging into Surge, but he is actually not. As you can see right here, makes the move and Surge let him go through. Beautiful move by Bossy Gaming, but quite of a risky one if you ask me. Camera racing down the main straight. Heading into lap 28 out of 36. Adams gets the fast slap. And he was the guy who wasn't able to get into the lobby, wasn't he? He's gonna get a good position here. P4. 10 seconds behind Noldus. He's not gonna be able to get that position. with the penalties that Noldus has, because, you know, 10 seconds is just too difficult to catch up to. Bossy Gaming, he doesn't have the DRS. He got overtaken by Surge right there. What tires are these guys running? Bossy Gaming running soft tires and he's having difficulties overtaking anyone. Makes the move down the inside on Surge. Beautiful move there from Bossy Gaming. Quite of an aggressive one, I do have to say that. He qualified in P1, is currently in P6. Not a good strategy he's running. And these soft tires definitely won't be lasting till the end of the race. I mean, his soft tires might be, but I don't think Calvin's will. 8 more laps to go. As he's now making a move down the inside into turn 12. Beautiful move there. He goes a little bit of touch-a-rooney as he pushes the Ferrari driver a little bit wide there. Surge still trailing by a couple of tenths. The Ferrari touches the brakes quite heavily there. That was Mr. Wiggles. As Surge now makes that move as they're going side by side through the last corner of the track. And Surge recaptures P6. But do they have the DRS right now? None of them has DRS. No, Surge does. It's Mr. Wiggles who doesn't have the DRS. So Surge is just gonna run away. He might be able to get to the toe of Bossy Gaming, and he's gonna have the DRS though. Let's have a quick look with Calvin Racing here in P2. 4 10s for the Alfa Romeo, 5 10s right now. Soft tires activated, but I don't think they will last till the end of the race though. These medium tires will be way beneficial in lap 33, 34, 35, 36. I don't think Mindful Wasp is going to be able to create a gap of 8 seconds though, as he has an 8-second time penalty. Four 10s, 5 10s for Calvin Racing. As you know, I always love to see an Alfa Romeo in the top 3 and even win a race. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Although Noldus is catching up to these two, the more they're going to be battling, the better it's going to be for Noldus and also for Adams. As you know, if he gets into the 8 seconds of Mindful Wasp, he might be able to get a podium out of it. Calvin Racing, he was looking to make a move. Mindful Wasp, no, it was Mindful Wasp making a move on Calvin Racing, wasn't it? Mindful Wasp right now in P1. I really need to go to the toilet. Calvin Racing. No, I'm gonna go. Guys, my apologies. I'm gonna go. I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, apologies. We're heading into lap 31 out of the 36. As it seems like Calvin Racing is still right behind Mindful Wasp right now. And we might want to go back to Mr. Wiggles as he caught up to Surge right now. The hard tires are definitely better than the medium tires. Although Mr. Wiggles goes a little bit too deep, we might want to switch over to the penalties. Mr. Bossy Gaming has a lot of time penalties, 12 to be exact, as he's going to drop back to P9, maybe even P10. And it's not a big battle between P10 and P11 right now, because obviously Aceman has got those 3-second time penalty. He's got that 3-second time penalty. Mindful Wasp and Calvin Racing still having a heated battle, and Noldus is slowly crawling closer. 1.2 seconds right now. And you know, Adams is too. 8.7 seconds behind Noldus. And the more these are going to battle, the riskier it is going to be for Mindful Wasp. So I would say, Mindful Wasp, just let him go through. You're going to lose that position anyway. A P3 is the best you can get. But of course, what's the chance that he's listening to the stream, right? Energy Dan all the way in P13. Him rejoining the session didn't really make a difference, did it? It's either P16 in DNF or P13, and I mean P14, because he's gonna get that position from Magi anyway. Or maybe he just rejoined to have some racing and he's gonna get a DNF at the end of the race. You never know. You never know. I have to stop making assumptions. Assumptions was the word I was looking for. And Mindful Wasp is not letting Calvin Racing go through. Let's have a quick look with those. Ooh, 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 ooh. I've got a cramp in my toe. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah, oh, that hurted. Ah, okay. It's still there though. Alright, so Mindful was right behind Calvin Racing, lap 33 out of 36 from the Mexican Grand Prix here in season 14. 14 seasons already is quite a bit though. Speed Force Racing, we're right up there with the toppers. Well, with the toppers, is that even an English word? I don't think so. With the top guys, with the top dogs, PSGL, WOR. But they dropped a little bit. They dropped a few tiers and currently are racing with only 2 tiers. But I can tell you they're definitely a great league. Adams is catching up though. Adams is catching up to Mindful Wasp right now, heading into lap 34 out of 36, and Calvin Racing is just gonna race away. And is Mindful Wasp gonna be flying away from Adams? That is the question. Buzzing away is the word I was looking for. You see, Mindful Wasp buzzing. Haha. My mom is not impressed. Search right now on the tail of Mr. Wiggles. And he's struggling though. Let's have a quick look with those penalties again. 3 seconds for both of them. Search does have the DRS though, as he will be able to make that move into turn 1 right now. The V-Car able to make the move on Martin, as I think Martin just let him go through. Both drivers being admins, you know. The V-Car might have said to Martin, yo, I need that position, buddy. Well, I need to get back to Search and Mr. Wiggles, because they've got a penalty, but the V-Car is simply not able to catch up. And with a 3.7 second gap to Mr. Wiggles, he's not going to get a position gain anyway. Doran right behind Energy Dan, as both drivers don't have a penalty. But they won't be gaining a position. Maybe one to Aceman. But they cannot battle too much with each other, because otherwise nobody is going to gain a position. Let's go back to P3, P2, P1 right now, as it is going to be penultimate lap at 35 out of 36. Noldus with his medium tires. Mindful Wasp going around the outside. He doesn't have to battle. He simply doesn't have to battle. Look at that leader gap. 8.7 seconds from Adams to Calvin Racing. Mindful Wasps is 3/10 behind Calvin Racing, so that would be 8.3 seconds to Adams. So if he's even pushing more, he's... Oh, Martin DNF'd. Oh yeah, that's in the pit lane. Okay, okay. He was gonna DNF anyway, he told me. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Adams is within 8 seconds of Mindful Wasp right now. This is not great for Mindful Wasp. He's just pushing for nothing. He simply should let Noldus go past. Maybe he's trying to... Oh, that could be it. Maybe he's going to try and get that 5-second penalty removed. And then he's still in front of Noldus. So he could get a P2. But I mean, the chances of him getting that 5-second time penalty removed are slim, are small, are very tiny. I don't think it's gonna happen though, guys. Oh, but I think Adams has made a mistake, hasn't he? 9 seconds right now. He's not within 8 seconds. He's not. Matt G getting a 3-second time penalty at the last lap of this race. Mindful Wasp takes the lead. Around the outside he goes. He has the inside line right now, and he's gonna have the DRS down this little straight. As the guys who've got the DRS down the long start-finish straight are gonna have the DRS here too, as Calvin Racing doesn't have the ERS anymore. And will Mindful Wasp be able to get any penalty removed? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. Let's go back to the interval, of course. As we can see, Mr. Wiggles being pretty close to Surge too. He's gonna have the DRS, but it's not gonna be close enough. Both drivers don't have any ERS left. And this is the battle for P6, of course. Well, P5, because Bossy Gaming has a 12-second time penalty. He's gonna drop back a couple of positions here. He's gonna drop back 1 to Surge. He's gonna drop back 1 to... No, he's not. No, he's not. They have to push a little bit more in order to get closer to Bossy Gaming. Because 8 plus 3 is... Oh no, 8 plus 3 is 11, so they will be able to. Mindful Wasp drops back to P3. Will Adams get there? Adams will not get there. So it's going to be a podium for Mindful Wasp once again. And what will Mr. Wiggles do with a good exit coming around the last corner? I do see him get a P5 here. Oh no, they won't be able to. Surge is going to get a P5. Bossy Gaming is going to drop back to P6. And then we've got Mr. Wiggles in P7. The V-Car in P8. Not a bad result. Matt G in P9 and Aceman in P10. Energy Dan will finish the race in P11. Oh no, in P9. Oh, there we go. He pushes up a couple of positions. And then, of course, Mark Querty. Last but not least, he has done everything he could. He's 2 minutes behind though. But he has done a great job racing and keeping it clean and all that kind of stuff. Does he have a broken front wing? Doesn't look like it. He still needs some practice. But practice makes key. There he goes, coming around the last corner. That will be race done for the AlphaTauri driver. Adams has left the session already. That is going to be your race here in Speed Force Racing. I'm just going to delete my camera real quick so that the admins can look. Oh, there we go. Wait, if I do this, is it going to get removed here? No. Okay. So this is going to be the results for this week. We've got the podium being Calvin Racing in P1, Noldus in P2, and Mindful Wasp being in P3. Further, we've got Surge in P4, not a bad result. Bossy Gaming in P5, Mr. Wiggles in P6, the V-Car in P7, Energy Dan in P8. Oh yeah, Adams should be in P4, by the way. Energy Dan in P9, Aceman in P10, Magi in P11, Adams, well, he's going to be there. Doran in P12, Mark Querty in P13, and then we've got the DNFs being Martin, Keith, Ellie. Fastest lap goes to Martin. Obviously, that doesn't count. So who does get the fastest lap? I would say Adams with a 119.1. Oh, wait. Mindful Wasp is really, really close. But it is going to be Adams with a 119.121. Mindful Wasp has a 119.164. So guys, that is going to be me for today. I thank you very much for listening. And hold up. I hope you guys liked this race as much as I did. I know I didn't sound very enthusiastic, but I can't. Because my parents are in my room and they are looking at me very, very angry every time I raise my voice, so. Now my dad is doing... Now he's telling me I'm a... What is that actually in English? Zagerpiet. Alright guys, I'm gonna shut down the stream. I will see you guys next week and peace out. Bye-bye.